Hello everyone, I have a great question to share for you that came in from Brent from Tampa, Florida. And Brent had this question to ask about taxes. When are taxes actually due for LLCs? And secondly, that the LLC that Brent owned didn't have any income, didn't have any expenses, does he still need to file the taxes? Great question. First of all, the taxes are due, or the filing depends. And it depends on whether you're a disregarded LLC, which means the LLC doesn't have its own tax return. It simply goes on your personal 1040 tax return. And if that's the case, then that's due on April 15th, or you can always file an extension and it's going to be due October 15th. So again, if you're a disregarded LLC, which means it flows through any income or losses to your personal tax return, it's due April 15th. Now, if you are an S-elected LLC, or even what is considered a C LLC, or potentially a partnership too, but we're going to focus on C and S elected LLCs. Their year end, most of the time, is the calendar year, and they have to file their taxes on March 15th. Now here's the important part here, is you've got this March 15th deadline and this April 15th deadline, depending on how you've chosen to have your LLC taxed. But the next question that Brent had was, do I have to file anything because I didn't do anything with my LLC this year? My business didn't get started, the investments didn't happen, whatever it was that Brent was doing in his business. And I'm going to tell you, yes, you still have to file a tax return. When the IRS issues your tax identification number, you basically jumped into the IRS's tracking system. And so for that LLC, they're expecting to see a tax return filed every year. Now, if it's going to go on your 1040 tax return, there is just something that goes on your Schedule C for that business. And if that business had no income and no expenses, it would be very simple. You would just state that on your Schedule C that you have this LLC, but essentially there's nothing that had to be reported other than a bunch of zeros, but you still have to report it. If you are an S-elected LLC or a C LLC and you file a separate tax return for that, you would still file the tax return with zeros on it showing no income and potentially no expenses. But remember, you can still expense some of your startup costs, so don't forget about that. But you would still file a tax return. So either way, you have to file a tax return for every LLC every year. And if there's no activity, it's not real complicated, but you still have to do it.